Hello everyone and welcome to the Instant Gamers Network. In today's show we're all going to talk to you about games that we love to play during the different seasons. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
So this week on Insta Games Network we're looking at the seasons, and I have chosen winter. It's cold, and I'm going to be looking at Dead of Winter. Now if you haven't heard of Dead of Winter, you're not a true board gamer. Maybe you're new to gaming, I'm not sure, but it's a hugely popular game, a bestseller. And the overarching theme is it's post-apocalyptic and there's a zombie apocalypse. So you're not only dealing with zombies, you're also dealing with the biting cold. That's the name. You've only got one little tin of beans to see through the winter. Beans. So you need to find food and other things in the game. Problem is, one of the players may well be betraying everybody else. You all have your own objectives that you need to complete by the end of the game, and if you fail to complete them, then you lose. Now if somebody out there is betraying everybody else, that's going to make it hard for you to complete things like going out and finding food. You have to fight zombies. You have to ensure that anyone who joins your little clique is cared for, so you might need to find more and more food as the game goes on. What was that noise? Probably the most awesome part of Dead of Winter is the Crossroads cards, which are cards that you draw throughout the game, and if something in particular happens during gameplay, they get triggered. And it's a beautiful narrative touch. If you haven't played Dead of Winter, I highly recommend it. And if you want to see a cool review, Netta's Plays from the Insta Games Network has one on her channel, so be sure and check that out. That's Dead of Winter for the seasonal episode of the Insta Games Network. I've been Girly Gamer, and it is cold in here. No, seriously, what was that noise?
Spring is here in the US, and it really is a refreshing time of year. No matter if you like cold weather or not, which I do, there's something really nice about springtime. Birds are chirping, there are bees buzzing, there's new plant life everywhere, and you can finally wear short sleeve shirts outside. If you're like me though, when springtime rolls around you get really into the idea of working outside in the garden or in the yard, and then you realize how much pollen stinks, you sneeze a few times and then head back in. Now, if you like the idea of planting and harvesting, and you want to stay inside, not having to pop a bunch of allergy pills, you should check out Takenoko. Takenoko is a farming and territory management game where players take actions in order to complete objective cards, which give you points and help you win the game. Takenoko is set in feudal Japan and includes these adorable little figures that can be a part of the actions you select to plant and harvest bamboo on a shared board. On their turn, players can do 2 of the 5 actions. They can draw territory tiles and play one, take an irrigation piece and add it to the board if they desire, or put it in their player area. They can move the farmer, who then grows bamboo. They can move the panda, who then eats bamboo, or they can draw another objective card. And these are actions that every player can take on their turn, regardless of thumb color. Starting during the second round of the game, players roll this weather die at the start of their turn. This dice changes the game each round and can make you think quickly or even change your strategy depending on what happens. Each face of the die triggers something different. It can do anything from making the panda move an extra time and eating again, allowing you to take the same action twice, which you're not normally allowed to do, or even allow you to add these improvements to the board. These can really be helpful when you're trying to complete objective cards. Objective cards are how players get points in Takenoko.
These cards require you to do anything from having a certain number of bamboo shoots on the territories, a certain pattern represented on the board, or even a combination of bamboo shoots for the panda to eat. I mean, look at this little guy. You can't hate this guy.
Now, we all have curmudgeons in our life that might not find this beautiful and charming game that interesting, and there's something in the box for them too. It's a prequel comic, which will distract them for like 30 seconds, and then the rest, well, that's up to you.
Once a player completes the required number of objectives, and it's different for each game according to player count, he gets the Emperor card. It's now the final round. Players have one more round to get as many cards completed as they can to have more points at game end.
Takenoko is a bright and beautiful game. I mean, you just look at the box and you get reminded of the pastels of springtime. It's not too complicated. It's a very lightweight game, almost gateway-ish, so you can get a lot of people into it, hopefully. If this looks interesting to you, I hope you'll check out Takenoko, and we'll see you next time.
Hello everyone, my name is Annette, and you might know me on social media as Netters Plays, and today I'm going to talk to you about a game that deals with seasons. And this game is called Miermis. Now, Miermis is a game that is all about ants, where you are controlling an ant colony and raising different types of ants, like soldier ants, worker ants, nursing ants, and so on. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to control the area that's above the ground, along with being productive with your own colony. Now, let me give you a general overview of the game board itself and show you exactly how the seasons and the time of the year affects the gameplay itself. So this is a simple setup of the game Miermis for a two-player game. Now, each player is going to have their individual ant colony board right here, where this is going to be pretty much the worker placement actions of the game. So you'll be working here on your own personal ant colony and producing different types of things or completing different actions that are set out in the real world, in the backyard of someone's house. So what you're going to do here is on this main board, you're going to confront other ant colony workers, soldiers, and you're also going to fight predators like spiders or ladybugs or even termites. And along with exploring the yard, you're also going to be gathering and harvesting different things like food and stone or even dirt. You also have certain objectives to complete at the top of the board. These will give you extra points if you complete those objectives throughout the course of the game. So I'm more interested in showing you this portion of the game board. This is the season track right here. You're going to have these seasonal dice. You're going to play 3 full years, and at the beginning of every year, you're going to roll these 3 dice. Now, these 3 dice, you're going to go ahead and place them where they belong, either spring, summer, or fall. You're also going to have the winter time to deal with. But basically, these dice are pretty much going to show you exactly what type of bonus you're going to get that season. So, for example, this 4, you're going to get a number 4 bonus that season. And then you can foresee what will be coming in summer and even fall for that year. The cool thing about this too is that you always know that winter's coming. This is where you have to always forfeit some amount of food depending on what time of year you are playing in. If you're in the first year, the second year, or the third year, and you progressively have to give up more and more food. So you have to get better and more efficient in the game throughout the course of the whole 3 years. So again, if you rolled that 4, you would put your marker over that 4 value on your player map. And then the bonus is what you're going to receive for that season. Now, if you don't like that bonus or you would prefer the bonus next to it, you can also use the larva from your larva room and place it right next to it, and then you can receive that bonus instead. You can also move it above that number as well. If you have more larvae, of course you can add more, so therefore you can have a couple more options based on how many larvae you're using to mitigate that roll. So these bonuses are going to help you every season throughout the game. They can award you higher points whenever you receive points, or even more larvae or harvest better. You can also move on the map faster, expand quicker, or just get more soldiers or workers and so on. So these bonuses are very handy and are crucial to the game, and it's all based on those seasonal dice. So as you saw in that general overview, you can see how the dice really affect the game. It's very slight and simple in this huge game. However, it kind of shows you what kind of bonuses you're going to have. And also that winter time is always coming, so you know what you have to prepare for. So you always have this sense of objective with the game. The cool thing about Mirror Myths itself too is that because the game is consistently progressing through 3 years, you're becoming more and more efficient with the game. However, that winter time is getting harsher and harsher. So you have to prepare yourself even more and more throughout the course of 3 years. So that's something that I just really love about this game. It's not very simple, it's a very complex game, but I just love how you just go through the different years and kind of learn in this game how to deal with the effects of the seasons itself.
Hey everyone, I'm the Board Game Renegade, and in today's episode of Instagamers Network, we are talking about the seasons. I'm lucky to be a New Yorker, so I get all 4 seasons. We get warm and toasty summers, we get the gentle breeze of autumn, we get snow-filled frigid winters, and we have beautiful, cozy, flowered-filled springs, and that's why I'm going to be talking to you about the game Lotus. In Lotus, players are forming 5 types of flowers and trying to gain control over those flowers, including everything from the 3-petaled iris to the beautiful 7-petaled lotus flower. On a player's turn, he may perform a combination of any 2 of the available actions. The available actions are playing 2 petal cards from your hand onto a single flower, exchanging 2 petal cards into your deck by placing the 2 cards onto the bottom of the deck and drawing 2 new ones, and the last available action is moving one of your guardians. So when players' turns are over, they draw back up to 4 cards. They could draw cards from their own deck, each of which has guardians on the cards, or they could draw cards from a generic set of cards that are laid out on the table. What the players are trying to do is complete flowers. When flowers are completed, the player that completed the flower gets all of the petals and places those petals in front of him. They will each be worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. The players are also trying to compete for dominance on the flowers. Dominance is the person with the most guardians on the flower. That includes the guardians on the cards that created the flower, also the guardians that you placed on the flower during your turn. When a player does have dominance on the flower, she has a choice. She could either take a 5-point victory token that'll be worth 5 points at the end of the game, or she could choose one of 3 special abilities, each of which is absolutely awesome. The endgame is triggered when one player runs out of cards in their deck, then each player takes 1 more turn, and the player with the most victory points at the end of the game is the winner. And that is the beautiful game Lotus from Renegade Game Studios that supports 2 to 4 players and plays out in about half an hour. I hope you enjoyed. Take it easy.
Hi everyone, it's Insta here. I read my name on Instagram, Shiny Meeples. This episode we're talking about seasons, and my link to the seasons is pretty tenuous. It's Bear Valley, designed by Carl Juddick and published by Stronghold Games. Here in the UK it's springtime, and in the spring bears come out of hibernation. We don't have bears here in the UK, but I just want to talk about Bear Valley, to be honest. I bought it last year. I think it's a really good game. So I thought, you know, give it some love on the Instagrammers. So it's a card laying game where your aim is to simply get from one end of the camp to the other without being eaten by any bears. But of course it's pretty tricky, and along the way you have some mishaps, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how you play it.
Bear Valley is a pressure luck card laying game for 2 to 6 players. Each player starts at base camp, and the aim is to navigate through the wilderness and reach destination camp alive. You do this by planning your moves in advance, pointing to which direction you wish to take 1 step at a time, laying your chosen number of cards as you go, joining them through the exits. If you explore too far, you may end up laying a card with no exit, and this means you're lost and cannot move your meeple. If you do not get lost, you can traverse the cards in your chosen direction. Pressure luck too far, you can end up laying a bear card, also meaning you have to stop before you reach the bear. You cannot traverse the card where your opponent is present. Each character has a limitation or special ability if you choose to play the enchantments variants. Land cards include bridges, mountains, caves and woods, and each type has different rules around how you can traverse them and equipment you may need. You can pick up equipment along the way if your character is able. The picnic basket is particularly handy, as this will allow you to traverse a bear card, using sandwiches as a distraction. Gold can assist you traverse the card where your opponent is present. If a player becomes unable to move, he is eaten by the bears and eliminated from the game. If all other players are eaten before you reach the end, the surviving player is the winner, or the player who makes its destination camp first wins the game.
So that's a brief overview of Bear Valley. Now, I think this game's pretty cool in its replayability factor because there are a couple of different variants as to how you can play the game. So obviously the characters have their limitations, but you can also play with their abilities, and then there's playing with or without the gold. I found it to be a pretty chilled out game, but also one that makes me go because it can be really annoying, much like a big bear. So yeah, good game, Bear Valley. Check it out, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
Hey friends, it's the Chubby Meeple here to talk to you about seasons. Well, seasons are changing. We're getting ready to move from winter to spring. Soon it'll be summer and fall and back to the cold, gruesome winter again. But I want to talk to you about my favorite season. That season? Con season. Just went to con this weekend, Hoosier Con, this past weekend to kick off my own con season, but we also have obviously Origins, Gen Con, Dice Tower Con, BGG Con, PAX Unplugged, Essen, yada yada yada. They keep going on and on and on. And I want to talk to you today, not about a game, but about a way to make your con season a lot easier. Today, I want to talk to you, my friends, about a little something called the Game Canopy. Let's check it out. The Game Canopy is perfect for the best season of the year, con season. Why? Because there are so many pockets and it stores so many games, it's easy to carry. You've got your nice nylon straps here, of course your Velcro handle so you can carry it. There's also a padded shoulder strap that you can toss over your shoulder, make it a little easier to carry your games everywhere you go. And there's a ton of storage in this. You've got a front pocket so you can throw some small box games in. Maybe you want to play a little Control during con season. There's a pocket here in the back to hold smaller games as well. So I've got Mintworks as well as One Deck Dungeon, both shoved back in the back. But the piece de resistance, if you will, is the ability of this Game Canopy to hold a lot of games. So we unzip it and we simply reveal the beauty and the glory of what we have on the inside. So this is just kind of thrown in here right now. So you see obviously Clank, Santorini, Unfair, Terraforming Mars, and Role Player all thrown in here. So 5 decently sized games that I can throw in here, take with me to a game night, to con, obviously whatever con you're heading to, makes it very easy to carry a multitude of games. So no more totes, no more dealing with other kinds of bags that are going to tear. I see a lot of people carrying games in like those environmentally safe grocery bags, and they tend to tear if you don't pack them just right or you put too much weight in them. So you got a nice gaming solution here. There is a really cool little fabric protector here to keep your zipper from snagging. It's double protected. It's a very thick padded carrying case to protect the games, so the games will be kept very safe, which is really cool, especially when you've got things that are difficult to find right now, like Terraforming Mars and Role Player. So that is the Game Canopy. If you're interested, check it out. Level3b.com, I believe, is the website. And you can get your own. They also have a second size, a little smaller size, more rectangular, called a Vanguard. And there's a multitude of colors that you can grab as well. Enjoy. And until next time, I'm the Chubby Meeple. Keep gaming, friends.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show, and please tell us about your favorite seasonal game. Also, please remember that you can also follow us on Instagram, and you can always subscribe and like our videos as well. So, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye!